Just a
It's
second.
5:31. Open for any, let us show that all councilwomen are here.
Council.
Councilwomen and men are here. Okay. Any public comments, Ms. Nichols, to come before the council?
I got one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead now.
okay, Mayor and Council, I'm still putting out there that if residents wanna, submit public comments, they have to do so by 5 o'clock the day of the meeting, so I received 2 this morning. So I will read the first one. It's from Miss Alicia Juarez. She is a Pecos resident. And she wrote, "To whom it may concern, my utility water bill was increased over $80. Like nothing from previous months, we were paying $27 to $30, and now it's gone up to $100. Plus, with the same water usage, I need a correction, explanation, or someone in person to address this huge problem." I went ahead and forwarded that message to Miss Emma Alvarez in the water department, so she said that she would reach out to her and look into her bill for her. And then the next public comment is from Miss Martha Fierro. She's from Pecos as well. And she stated, "On behalf of the truck-going residents in Pecos, I am requesting a meeting to allow us to express our opinions regarding truck parking ordinances. We are not allowed to park our truck without the trailer at home as we have done in the past, so where do we park? Truck stops do not allow unattended trucks to be parked overnight, and if they do, you run a risk of being vandalized and having your stuff stolen, like your hoses, tools, and spare tires. If and when you park at home, it is overnight, other times while we shower, rest, or grab a quick bite to eat. Most trucks require everyday maintenance to stay in DOT compliance. Simple tasks like changing a mud flap or replacing a turn signal, checking washer fluid, checking for air leaks, etc. This can easily be done at home without having to pay a mechanic, which is not only expensive but hard to find. Not everyone can afford to buy a lot to park or pay a fee to park their equipment on someone else's property. Our equipment is our livelihood, and we depend on it to feed our families, therefore we need to keep it safe from theft or vandalism. I kindly request an opportunity to express our opinions so that together we can come up with a better solution that is beneficial to us and safe for everyone." And I went ahead and forwarded that comment as well to Mr. Donnie McKinney, so that he could kind of look into the truck ordinance and get with her and see if they can kind of come up with a solution. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. Anything to go?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
I want you to sleep at night.
I do see that, no.
Okay.
Time is too much. No, not really.
Anybody?
You know, I hear a lot of thank yous, and I do appreciate frontline people, EMS, our department, police department, sheriff's department. Cause I work in.
Don't forget our people here in the city.
Yeah, in the city, yeah. The one thing I don't hear, and this is throughout the nation, but I just wanna give a little thank you to the people that keep the lights on, just like our field personnel keep the water flowing.
No pun.
Intended, thank you. But, you know, I work in that field and, you know, it's a very challenging endeavor, but sometimes it goes very much unpaid.
Yeah,
True. You know, but
That's true.
I don't particularly work in that sector anymore, but I have coworkers that are there and they're up in all hours of the night, taking care of business, and we have a lot of contractors out here in Texas doing that work, and they risk their lives, and but I just wanna say thank you to them.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. And I also, want to thank Ms. Council Naka, because when we had our meeting this morning, she did mention that, you know, as leaders in the community, that we do have to wear our mask as well, show people that we are willing to do it, so that hopefully everybody that can get on board. And again, I'm not saying you have to, but as community leaders, if you have your mask, wear it out in public. We have been doing good by the grace of God. You know, we did discuss one this morning that we're still trying to get the details. I don't know if you got anything else, Mr. Swanson. He was tested in Florida and tested positive, but he had a Texas resident, a Pecos resident. So they can't find him, so they think he's coming to Pecos. But again, I just wanna let everybody know, we're keeping an eye on things. We'll know if he does, cause we will quarantine like everyone else, 14 days.
And just to remind people, the name, sex, or cannot be divulged. So people, because people don't start wondering, well, who is it? Why can't you tell us? But that's HIPAA law.
At least, hopefully you won't show, we don't know for sure. But
Mhm.
again, that way you all know where we're at on anything. So, if this person comes to Pecos, he will be counted on our account
So that
as a
would put it-
positive.
If say he was to come tomorrow, they would put us at 8.
That was president, okay, so, but that's kinda letting you all know where we're at on that. Okay, alright, let's go ahead and go to non-consent. Number 1, discuss, consider resolution 20-05-01R, change order number 3, Meadowbrook subdivision project, Swanson.
Mayor and Council, Seth Sorensen, City Manager. This is the project, Meadowbrook subdivision that we are partnering with the Pecos Economic Development Corporation on to bring some new housing sites. It's been shut down for a few months for weather and winter and some other issues. We've been negotiating with them on this change order, and we've come to some mutually acceptable terms on the earthwork and on some other quantities that were in dispute. This is the resolution of that, and this would re-engage them, remobilize them to the site to finish up this project and get it going for housing. The total of the change order would amount to $211,322.43, and it would come from retained earnings for previous year's revenues, what we usually call reserves. And so this resolution amends the budget and appropriates the money for this project for the purpose of getting it completed.
So we have to pay them,
That's correct.
even though they had the plans, they knew what was supposed to be done, and they chose to ask somebody else, that other person, just change it, but that still doesn't fall on the city as a whole to pay out this much amount.
And we had actually negotiated this down from $324,000, and so they did meet us partway.
And I understand that, son, but the thing is that they had the orders at hand. They had what they were supposed to do. They asked somebody else, can we change it? That person said yes. However, that person could have been their best friend, could have been somebody that they could just say, okay, he's gonna tell me yes. I just feel that they should be responsible for what they did, because they had the order, they had what they had to do, they knew what to do. It's their fault that they went a different route by asking a different person, can we do this? Even though I may not have a vote in this, I think that they should be responsible enough. It's not their first time they build things. This is not the first time they build stuff. You know, because I've checked and they've built other places without problems. But the thing is that, I'm just saying, how do we know the person that asked for the change isn't their friend that work for the city? Because they both work for the city, they know who to go to.
And I don't have an answer to that. Unfortunately, we're at the situation now where I don't have enough detail of what happened. I just have this as a possible path forward to get the project completed.
So your recommendation is that we pay them?
It is, and that we pay it out of water fund. It is still a need to have residential, and although I'm not excited about paying additional funds, I do think it's essential that we get this project wrapped up and get it turned over for development.
They almost done?
So when they come back, they'll have to come in with a little bit of dirt work, a little bit of grading, and then paving, and they should be done.
Well, this project has been going on since May or June of last year, and for 6 months it hasn't done nothing because of disagreements, which the responsibility falls on both parts, because, you know, as the city manager, as part of the project, the contact, as soon as the contact, you know, they were contacting the people that you put in charge. And so there was a discrepancy. That's where you should have stepped up and being the, you know, the creator of the plans and all that, to instead of letting it go 6 months later, and here we come up with this stuff, 6 months later, when this could have been taken care of right off the bat, when it first started. But it's where we talked about it in the meeting, the last meeting that we had, it was just a lack of communications, you know. Somebody said, okay, we can do it, and then, you know, they didn't get to you, and by the time it gets to you, it's already, the project's already moved in a different direction, and you know, it's just a bad deal. Altogether, to me, it's a bad deal, because it started out, like I said, May and June, I think, of last year, and then all of a sudden it comes to a screeching halt. And I met with these people, and I saw their plans and the changes, and you know, I'm not no engineer, so I don't understand all that, what happened, transpired. But you being the engineer in the project, you should have stepped up right there, gone to them, and you know, try to clarify it. Here we are 6 months later, the job that project's at a standstill, plus the one at Peach Street is at a standstill because we're dealing with the same folks. And the common denominator of the both projects is them and you.
Us.
And I'm not trying to blame you and everything, but it's just a lack of communication that we need to do a lot better job. So, do we have a time frame on this for, you know, if we approve this, is there a time frame where they'll start and finish their part?
So within notification of the change order, we probably have them start within 10 days of receiving that, with 120 days to complete, which should be more than enough time to come in and do the work that remains.
They're looking at maybe August.
What happens if we don't pay them? I mean, they built 16 houses, they rented 2.
I think this is a different project.
Yeah.
No houses have been built on Meadowbrook yet.
Because I've only seen 2 cars out there the whole time they passed by there, so I
No,
don't
we're
think
talking
they-
about Meadowbrook, but the one you're talking about, Bradley one? he's
Oh, the
talking about,
Bradley one.
That's two different.
Yeah,
Two different projects. I'll just go back to what was said, when I was against the tax abatement. We'll get it back in utility funds and taxes and,
Yes, I understand.
not as quickly as we would want to, but we'll get it back, so. You know, I just hope, moving forward, both parties can learn and communicate moving forward with the Peach Street, not let things get bogged down for whatever reason. I don't know if you were in direct contact with them, did you put a liaison or what, but it needs to be more direct, whoever it is, needs to be more direct. And if they have a problem, they need to come
Direct
to you,
Yeah.
you know, not circumvent a different area or try to talk to somebody else, but, and I told them last time, I did, and I'm gonna advise you, I'm pretty sure you do, but if you don't, I would like for you to, when you meet with them, document, have Howdy in there, we discussed it, have somebody else in there and document, that way there's no, well, you didn't tell me, no, we have witness and everything's signed.
Because at a pace that this is going, they'll build a hospital before we build home.
Yeah, that's.
So you all have met with these guys?
Huh?
You all have met with them and
Yeah.
heard their story and
Yeah.
well, their sob story to me. That's how I feel. Because again, it was a project, they had it in their hands, they went to I still say somebody that they could count on to say yes to the changes, and that's what they did.
They did.
Circumcised everything to get things done the way they wanna get them done.
They
But
said
again,
they
I
said-
don't vote.
They
That
said
is
they
up
talked
to
to
you
somebody
guys.
that was designated to be the in-between, that's what they told me.
Like
I'm not gonna
I
say I
think-
believe that, I'm not gonna
well,
say I
if
deny
there was
it.
somebody they knew pretty good, so.
Well, it's gonna be a he said, she said,
Yes.
or he
Yeah,
said,
and
she
that's,
said.
and that's what we
kind of
need to
thing.
get away
But,
from, is that he said, she said.
Moving forward, maybe we need to take that into account and look for different contractors, maybe somebody who's local, more
Yeah.
local than they are.
And then a city manager, your primary job is to run the city, not engineer the city. And that's how I feel, you know, concentrate on your duties as a city, because that's a big project, you know, for you to put it together and then try to maintain it and follow through. I mean, that's a lot of stuff that falls on your shoulders, and when, really there's other people that are qualified where they can be there. I deal with engineers every day, I've been with 3 all day today. And stuff didn't go the way they had it because it wasn't right. But, you know, people make mistakes, nobody's perfect, so it's just like the councilwoman said, we just go move forward and make sure the next time we don't get bogged down. I don't know how, you know, here we are gonna be $211,000 out of our pocket. But if the project had gone on smoothly, where would we be today? There'd be houses being built right now, but there's not. So that's all in the back burner. How much money did we lose on that too?
And I agree with Councilman Baca, maybe we need to
There's no
Not
people
just
in
use a
Pecos to
particular-
buy houses right now.
not just use one particular, spread the wealth.
All right, so let's go ahead and, I need a motion to approve the $211,322.43.
Well, since I haven't spoken, I make a motion to approve resolution 2005-01R, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a change order number 3 in the amount of $211,322.43 for the Meadowbrook subdivision project with Eduardo Madrid and Associates.
Any second?
Can I add something to it? Seth, right now with what we're going through, with a lot of money not coming in the way we're used to, you know, you got your plate full, would you feel comfortable continuing with this, or would you feel comfortable handing it over to somebody else? I know that somebody else is who, because everybody's pretty much laid out.
Kind of a loaded question.
Yes, sir.
I don't have an answer for you.
Think about it, because I know right now in the upcoming months with all this COVID-19 effects that we've had on our funding and the way the government's coming, hopefully they'll send us some money, but, you know.
Then with that, you know, you're the writer of the plans, still have a say-so on it, because you're the one that, you know, put it together, so. But at least take that headache away of, you know, if something comes up, it's not just you, everything on you, you know. Councilman Arona said if it's something delegated to somebody else that can concentrate just on that piece.
Please, I have a motion by Councilman Tellez, second by Councilman Trujillo to approve, the Meadowbrook, change order. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting and so.
That's it?
Make a motion
Second?
we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Councilman Arona, second by Councilman Tellez to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
It's deceiving because we're not leaving.
The time is 5:50.
I said it's deceiving
Time
because
is
we're not
5:50.
leaving.